Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Decorating with pumpkins don't have to mean just jack-o'-lanterns. Here to show us how to create beautiful pumpkins using pressed flowers, we welcome back artist Bri Rossi. So good to see you.
Yeah, so nice to have you back.
We were just saying, why not put a pressed flower onto a pumpkin?
Yes, I am a big fan of putting pressed flowers onto anything that you can.
I always love other ways instead of carving pumpkins, just because my kids are young and those utensils are kind of scary sometimes.
Yes.
So
yes, this is a great alternative. It's very easy, great for kids, and also it's great for just fall in general. So you can decorate them for like Halloween, but then really keep them around for the entire fall season, which is really fun.
I love to keep any pumpkins or squash or gourds kind of around the house as long as we can. Let's talk about where you start in terms of materials.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're gonna kind of start with the same kind of process. So we talked about flower pressing last time. I like to use flower presses and just collect different plants that I have available to me. For these pressed flower pumpkins, because the pumpkins are so like ridgy and have a lot of texture to them, I recommend doing plants that are already pretty flexible, pretty flat. So you can see I did some pansies and then some coreopsis there.
Beautiful.
At the end of the season, there aren't quite as many different flowers to press, but there is still quite a few. So it's always good to start with those. So you're gonna wanna do dried flowers for sure. So I have some fresh ones here. If you use fresh plants, the likelihood that they're gonna turn brown is pretty high. So the pressing process is what preserves that color. So you're gonna wanna use dried pressed flowers for this craft. And then the other materials that you need are some compostable glue. Since we're putting glue on natural products, at the end of the season you can put the whole thing in the compost.
That's amazing.
Versus like using a glue where then you'd have to throw it in the trash.
Yes.
So
where does one come about compostable glue?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can make it at home. So it's like a multi-tiered craft. You can learn to make compostable glue. There's a lot of really good recipes online, and it's really easy. This one is just water, cornstarch, a little bit of honey, and some vinegar. So
that makes sense.
Super easy.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you can have a whole bunch of it for other crafts, which is great.
Why not?
So yeah, you're definitely going to want to use compostable glue. If you're making like a plastic pumpkin, you could also do that. So you could have it for multiple seasons. And in that case, you could just use like a regular Mod Podge. Yeah. So
let's dive in. What should we do?
All right. So for this one, we're going to use our gloopy glue. It's not the most like attractive glue, but
cool,
it's great.
Though.
It's like a little gloopy. It's kind of like sciencey. And then you just need some paintbrushes. So here's one for you.
Perfect.
And you're going to want to make sure that your pumpkin's like pretty clean. If it has some spots, you know, that's just how pumpkins are.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I like to use these white pumpkins just because the flowers really stand out, but you can use whatever type of gourd.
Cool.
So you're just going to take a little bit of the gloopy glue.
Gloopy glue, technical term.
Yes, and then spread it on kind of the area of the pumpkin where you want to put the pressed flour. It's kind of gloopy.
It is an interesting texture.
It's an interesting texture, but it does work. So you just kind of spread it around, and then you pick whatever kind of plant you want, and just slightly stick it on there.
Try not to break it before you even get it on. These are so
they're
delicate.
A little delicate. It's helpful to use tweezers sometimes.
That's a good idea.
Or you can use like your paintbrush. And then you're just gonna put some more of the gloopy glue on top of the flower.
Similar process, it's just kind of a little bit different material that you're working with.
Exactly. And you guys kind of want to make sure that you get it underneath all of your different petals there. And then that way it will kind of stick down. And this one, you can do multiple layers of glue. For these ones, I just did one layer of glue and that seemed to be enough. And then I'd recommend keeping these pumpkins indoors. Just because like the compostable glue,
you don't want them to just disintegrate before it's even time for the big event.
They might just melt off.
I think I got this guy somewhat intact here. That is so fun.
So you just kind of go around your whole pumpkin and put on just the glue kind of in the areas. You don't really have to coat the entire pumpkin. And this glue, once again, is going to just dry clear. So
how much time does it need to fully dry?
I'd give it like a good hour or so. So it's definitely an activity where you kind of glue everything down and then you go do something else for a little
bit. But I love that you can have making the glue as part of your process.
Yes,
That's so cool. And just easy ingredients that you probably have most of them in your pantry already.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at us. This is such a great idea. And you have some other things here. We were talking about this cute, spooky ghost craft.
Yes.
So simple, but look how adorable that is. And it's just a whole different kind of take on the theme.
Yeah. So that one's just paper, and then I used a little bit of the Mod Podge glue. You can kind of cut out the ghost shapes and then cut out the eyes and really make it your own. Or you could even like put the flowers below the ghost or something.
Totally. This is so fun. You have such great ideas. Thank you so much for coming back and visiting us. This was so fun. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.